this is why I said Martin Luther King and the end of segregation was the reason why all them statistics I posted was on there. Because if you look at the simple fact that it's 19 million people since 1960 on that statistic. And then if you look at it since 1965, since the Civil Rights Movement, which pretty much we've been taught in history that Martin Luther King spearheaded. You know what I'm saying? This was his movement. It wasn't necessarily his movement, but he spearheaded it. He the dude that got a holiday named after him. He the dude that we recognize when we even say civil rights. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's like he like a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He get all the praise in the world for the civil rights and the progress that they say we done made cause of the civil rights. And I say we ain't made no progress since the civil rights. I feel like we done took like 300 steps backwards if you look at the numbers. Now the numbers say that we had 19 million black people in 1960 and we had 9 million people married. Now you fast forward to 2010, we still only got around 9.5 million people married. But we got double the amount of black people in this country since then. So since 1965, you got 20 million black people that's done had absolutely zero progress in the field of marriage. Now that's just point one. Before that, even throughout slavery, all the way up before the Civil Rights Movement, you had half of the black couples in this country married. 20% of the children was born out of wedlock to single parents. Now you got 72% of black kids born to single parents. They men and women now. You got single daddies and single all that shit now. But it's like 72% of the kids. Just think about the number. Back before we had the Civil Rights Movement, it was 20% of these kids born to single moms. Now after the Civil Rights Movement, we got 72% of our kids born to single moms. And then you look at the number of all the killers. The major point of the Civil Rights Movement was for us to be well educated on the same level as the white people and for them to stop like lynching and killing us. When you look at the numbers, the motherfucking KKK only killed about 4,000 people. You know what I'm saying? But then after the Civil Rights Movement, man, in the last 2 years, we done killed almost 12,000 people. In the last 2 years, black on black crime. Now we do they bidding for them. You know what I'm saying? Our people still don't get the education, and we don't get married. All the shit is all fucked up. We done spiraled out of control ever since the Civil Rights Movement. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta blame it all on Martin Luther King, and you have to blame it all on the simple fact that they desegregated everything. Because before you desegregated everything, you had black leaders, black people, black business owners, black everybody doing a black thing, bringing up the black community. But after the Civil Rights Movement, once everybody knew that they can go and dibble and dabble with all the white people, everybody ran off and dibble and dabble with the white people. Don't nobody do nothing black no more. They took the simple fact of that you got to be not segregated and just ran with it. Don't do nothing black no more. We don't have no black communities, no black nothing no more, no black power movement. We got stagnant at like 1965, and the culture got stuck there and left there. The worst thing that ever could have happened to black people was the Civil Rights Movement. Without the Civil Rights Movement, the progress that we was making at the pace that we was making, just think about where black people would be right now if we didn't have that whack ass movement. And it was all Martin Luther King, and he spearheaded the situation, and he get all the praise in the world, and it kind of make you think was the whole situation orchestrated? Because out of all the black leaders we done had in history, he is the most celebrated. And then you sit back and you wonder why he is the most celebrated. Because he is the only one that I can really think of out of all the leaders that tell all the black people not to fight, not to stand up, not to do nothing. He say, as long as you give us, we'll just concede and not do anything. And they glorify him and his way of thinking, and it's not been passed down, a submissive way of thinking on us through culture ever since 1965. All the people now think like Martin Luther King. As long as we okay and you let us sit on the bus with y'all and drink out the water fountain, y'all, we good. We straight. We ain't gotta worry about nothing. And that's the way of thinking of the world right now. Ain't nobody even paid attention to the simple fact that we got way more kids dying, black kids dying today. We got way less family structure today than we had in the 60s before the civil rights movement. And then just because we can drink in the same motherfucking water fountain now, people act like the world is better.